Hey, what's up? It's your Tech Bro Cholo here, and welcome back to where we take awesome out of the box. Now, a while back we talked about the A94 from OPPO, and it was a really great phone, but today we're talking about the more affordable younger brother, the OPPO A74. Alright, so for the pros, we have a full HD AMOLED panel and a more universal fast charging protocol. Now for the cons, we don't have an ultra-wide angle camera, it's not the best for medium to heavy gaming, and we don't have stereo speakers anymore. Do you want the A94's AMOLED display but it's not within your budget? No problem. OPPO's A74 is a more affordable alternative to the brand's mid-range offering, having many of the core features of the A94 at a lower price. But does the OPPO A74 have what it takes to compete against the reigning king? Let's find out. Unlike the A94, the A74 goes for a more common packaging, where you have the photo of the phone in the front, along with the usual branding. It also has the two-piece package design like the A94, where the actual box is practically devoid of any markings, save for the subtle OPPO branding. Inside the box, you get the usual contents: the phone itself, which we'll look at later, silicone case, documentation, SIM ejector tool, 33-watt charger, USB-C cable, and a headset. So it's a full package for anyone who wants to get this as their first ever smartphone. Big thumbs up. The A74 has the same size as the A94, save for the variation in the camera module since the A74 uses a triple rear camera setup instead. It's also similar as it uses a glossy finish on both the back panel and the frame. And it's also a fingerprint magnet, as you can see here. But we get a silicone case to keep it from getting this dirty. The port and button layout are likewise the same as well. SIM card tray and volume control on the left side, the power button is on the right side, and loudspeaker, USB-C port, and headphone jack at the bottom. Despite having a bigger battery, which we'll talk about later, it has the same weight and thickness as the A94, which is pretty neat. The A74 borrows the same display panel used on the A94. We're talking about a 6.43-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED panel that has deeper blacks and more vibrant colors compared to the IPS panel used on its predecessor. You also get quality upgrades like Widevine L1 for watching Netflix shows in Full HD, along with an in-display fingerprint scanner. Like the A94, our complaint with the A74 is its speakers, as it reverts back to the single bottom firing one instead of dual speakers which we found on its predecessor. And because of that, overall audio fidelity isn't as great, and we're thankful that the A74 still comes with a headphone jack. So that way, if you're watching your favorite Netflix shows or maybe your favorite anime, well, you still get the top-notch experience thanks to the great display. While the A74 has virtually the same camera setup found on the A72, we're scratching our heads at the lack of an ultra-wide angle camera. This leaves you with only the 48-megapixel main camera as the only usable rear camera. The 2-megapixel mono and macro cameras are pretty much there to simply add to the features. Though it is possible to get decent shots with the macro camera if you nail the focusing distance right. Good luck taking photos of flowers with the macro camera on a windy day. It's really hard. Missing ultra-wide angle camera aside, overall camera performance is similar to the A94. Though you are losing on several features like 4K video recording, ultra steady, and dual view video. But while it does scale back on camera features, the A74 appears to have EIS built in. I tried shooting a quick full HD clip and barely noticed any sudden movements. So while it might not be built for, let's say, video recording or vlogging, it still does a good job with taking photos. The A74 is equipped with a Snapdragon 662 processor that is paired with 6GB RAM and 128GB internal storage. That gives the A74 more RAM than its predecessor, and the processor is near identical to the Snapdragon 665. And while the Snapdragon 662 has lower clock speeds, it makes up for it with support for faster LTE speeds, along with support for Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.1. But in terms of general performance, the A74 should be just as good as any phone that has a Snapdragon 665. So don't let the processor's model number fool you. When it comes to gaming, the A74's performance is more of a mixed bag based on the results we obtained from Gamebench. While we're surprised that it actually performed well in Asphalt 9 with high quality graphics, there are limitations when it comes to other games. In the case of Call of Duty and Wild Rift, the A74 can run 60 FPS, but only if you set the graphics to low. We don't know if it's a game-related issue, but we've tested phones with the same processor and we could get 60 FPS on high settings. So maybe a software update or a game update will fix this. Now, things get a bit problematic when it comes to playing Genshin Impact. Aside from the game struggling by only 22 FPS on average, I encountered several in-game delays that gave me a headache while doing quests and domain challenges. Moving on, we have a 5000 mAh battery on this. PC Mark's battery test reported around 18.5 hours of battery life, which should translate to around 2 days of juice with moderate use. But unlike the A94 that uses OPPO's 30-watt VOOC charging, the A74 uses a more universal 33-watt flash charge solution. It is a widely adopted fast charging protocol, as brands like Vivo and Xiaomi do the same with wired charging for their mid-range phones. And topping up the A74 is swift. It took us a little over an hour to charge from flat to 100%. Not bad at all. So there you have it. The OPPO A74 does a good job as an affordable alternative to OPPO's A94. It retains that gorgeous AMOLED display, in-display fingerprint scanner, and 48-megapixel main rear camera while being priced lower. And while you lose an ultra-wide-angle camera and 4K video recording, the A74 makes up for it by having a bigger battery that supports a more universal fast charging solution. You can grab the OPPO A74 for just 11,999 pesos. You can check out reviews on this and many other smartphones on Unbox.ph. Also, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. That's right guys, subscribe because when you hit 250k subs, we're giving away another smartphone. So don't forget to hashtag sub2unbox. Hit the notification icon if you want to get updates when we drop videos. Once again, it's your tech bro Cholo, and I'll see you guys in the next one.